Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a massive question. What is the actual blueprint of existence? We're going to take a look at the very architecture of reality itself.
So let's just start with a pretty wild idea. What if our entire modern world, with all of its chaos and all of its crises, is actually built on a single fundamental mistake in how we see things?
I mean, the warning signs are, well, they're everywhere, right? Global systems are buckling under the pressure. We're in a state of what's called ecological overshoot, which means we're just burning through the planet's resources way too fast. And then you look inside, and so many of us feel this constant war between our head and our heart, between reason and passion. It leaves us with this deep feeling of being disconnected, spiritually empty. But here's the thing. These aren't a bunch of separate problems. They're all symptoms of the exact same root cause.
So here's the journey we're going to go on today. First, we'll expose the grand illusion. Then we'll try cracking reality's code. After that, we'll look at our role as the architect of worlds, put it all together with the one and the many, and finally, we'll see how we can pierce the veil. All right, first up, the grand illusion. At the heart of all this is a lie, a really convincing lie we tell ourselves every single day, the lie of separation. And this metaphor, it just nails it. We walk around feeling like we're these individual, separate drops of water. But what if, in reality, we're all just part of one single, gigantic, interconnected ocean? This feeling of being separate isn't how things actually are. It's an illusion that we've built. So how do we keep this illusion going? We do it through something called imagined orders. Think about things like money, or corporations, or even nations. None of these things are physically real, you know? You can't touch them. They are incredibly powerful shared stories that only exist because we all collectively agree to believe in them. And these shared fictions, they shape our entire world.
And this has some very real, very physical consequences. A system that's built on separation and competition and endless consumption, it creates a physical reality like this: 52 tons of garbage for the average person. That's not some kind of mistake in the system. That is the system working as designed. It's a literal monument to a story that's completely out of sync with reality.
Okay, so if the code for our current reality is flawed, is there a way to find the source code of actual reality? That's what we're going to get into next. We're going to go looking for the blueprints of emergence across some very different fields. And what's so fascinating is that these different fields all kind of tell the same story. In pure mathematics, you can create a universe with a single, simple act of distinction. In biochemistry, you have a simple one-dimensional code of amino acids that contains the entire blueprint for a complex three-dimensional protein. And in quantum physics, you have this wave of infinite possibilities that collapses into one single, definite reality the moment it's observed. See the pattern? In every case, incredible complexity emerges from a very simple foundational act.
The physicist John Archibald Wheeler summed this all up perfectly with this phrase: it from bit. The it, the physical world, particles, everything, it gets its very existence from the bit, an act of observation, which is what creates information. Now think about what that means. It means the universe isn't just something we're passively watching. It's something we're actively participating in creating.
And if observation is the key, well, that leads us directly to the architect of it all, our own mind. So let's explore the incredible role our consciousness plays in building the world we experience. Now, for centuries, there have been two big ideas about this. On one side, you've got Plato. He believed the blueprints for reality, these perfect forms, exist out there, somewhere, in their own realm. And on the other side, you've got Kant. He argued that all that structure actually comes from inside us. He said our minds have this kind of pre-installed software, categories like space and time and causality, that basically organizes everything we perceive. But what if they were both right? What if it's not one or the other? That's the beautiful idea behind something called transcendental-platonism. It suggests that reality is a co-creation. It's a partnership. The universe provides these deep rational patterns, the rules of the game, and our minds provide the operating system, like space and time, that lets us actually experience them. The implication of this is just staggering. It means we never, ever experience the world as it is directly. We can't. We live in what you might call a quasi-reality, a world that is constructed by this incredible partnership between the universe and our own mind. So that brings us to the ultimate synthesis, the metaphysical glue that holds this whole idea together. How do we reconcile this unified one with all the separate, many things we see around us every day? Okay, this gets right to the heart of it. It's a concept called ultimate totality, and I want you to just try and wrap your head around this for a second. It's a state of being completely outside of time and space. It's this field of pure potential, pure awareness, where everything that ever was or ever will be exists, all at once, forever. It is the infinite wellspring that everything we know emerges from. Now, the philosopher Spinoza actually gave us a great framework for this hundreds of years ago. He described this one single substance that he called God or nature, and he said it has two sides. There's nature naturing, that's the active, eternal, underlying laws of the universe itself, the source code. And then there's nature natured, and that's all the individual things and events we see and experience, the running program. Two sides of the exact same coin. And this leads to a completely radical solution to the age-old mind-body problem. Your mind and your body, they aren't two different things that somehow have to interact with each other. No, they are two different ways of perceiving the exact same underlying thing. The mind is the idea of the body, and the body is a physical expression of the mind. It's one reality just viewed from two different perspectives.
Okay, so wow, this is all fascinating, mind-bending stuff. But what do we actually do with it? That's what this final section is all about, piercing the veil of illusion and figuring out how we can actually live this connection in our day-to-day lives.
Well, the path leads to nothing short of an inner revolution. And it starts with understanding the true causes behind our emotions. When you really, truly grasp the chain of events that led you to feel anger or jealousy, the emotion itself transforms. It stops being a passion, which is something that just happens to you, and it becomes an action, something you understand and can work with. And this clarity, this feeling of grasping our true place in the universe, that's the real source of freedom and joy.
There's this classic Zen saying that captures this so perfectly. The whole point isn't to escape the world or float away on a cloud. The world doesn't change. You still have to chop the wood, you still have to carry the water. The only thing that changes is your experience of it. The transformation is completely 100% internal. And this kind of transformation, it often doesn't come from just thinking about it. It comes from a direct, intuitive experience. In Zen, this is called satori. It's not some permanent state you achieve. It's more like a sudden flash of insight, a glimpse behind the curtain into the true, interconnected nature of everything. It's that profound aha moment where you realize you aren't just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. You've had it all along.
And all of this leaves us with one final, absolutely crucial question. If it's true that our world is built on the stories we agree to believe, and if our perception of reality really is a co-creation between us and the universe, if our collective minds are the architects of our world, then we have to ask ourselves, what new story could we tell? What new world could we agree to create together next?